It's terribly difficult to recruit for a Secret Service. You're looking for somebody who's a bit bad, but at the same time loyal. There's a type, and I fitted perfectly.
Hi, I'm Errol.
Nice to meet you. I'm Simon. This is my brother Stephen.
What was your first impression of David Cornwell when you meet with him face to face, and how did it change after interviewing him?
At first, it seemed like it was going to be an adversarial interview. It was going to be some kind of crazy wrestling match or interrogation. He opens the interview by saying, "Who are you?" Well, I'm sorry, I don't know who I am. I don't even know if I'm capable of answering that question. You know, I'm talking to a guy who's probably one of the most articulate guys in the world. To say that he speaks well and thoughtfully is an understatement. He's quite extraordinary in his gift for language and for self-expression. So it did change. It changed from confrontation to a kind of, I hesitate to say embrace, but a kind of thoughtful communion between two people maybe who had a lot of ideas about similar subjects and wanted to talk about them. So that was great. It's one of my very favorite interviews I've ever done.
You were there when they were shooting, so I'd like to ask you how it was the atmosphere there, because seeing the movie seems a little bit like a battle between great minds and great interviewer. So I want you to confirm or deny my interpretation.
I think our father was prepared for battle. He had watched every movie that Errol had ever made. He'd read a lot of what Errol had written. He was all prepared. And Errol was also extraordinarily well prepared and had read. Errol likes to say that he's not read everything that my father wrote, but that's not true. He read everything. So they were both prepared. And they sat down together head to head. And you see at the beginning of the movie, my dad trying to turn the tables on Errol and become the interrogator. But the remarkable thing is that Errol doesn't play ball with that. Errol wants a conversation. And I think where the film becomes interesting is where it becomes a journey that the two of them are traveling together. I mean, yes, it is, you know, it's a dialectic between two great minds, as you say, but it's two great minds walking the same path side by side, as well as it is going head to head, I think.
Seeing the finished work, do you really think there are points in which you could have pushed more? Do you have a little bit of regrets here and there?
Of course. Inevitably, when you do anything, particularly you do an interview with someone like John Le Carré, after the fact, you say to yourself, I said to myself, well, I wish I had asked this, or I wish I had asked that. But I rather like the film. I think it's, I don't want to overly advertise my own work, but I think there's something profound about it. And I think something profound about many of the issues discussed in the movie itself. You're doing a whole number of things at the same time in making this kind of movie. Part biography, part a history of him, his upbringing, his family. Part of it is a history of the history that he was part of, whether it's the building of the Berlin Wall or the perfidy of various drug companies, and on and on and on and on. He's a documentarian in part, a person chronicling the history of his time. And it's an extraordinary opportunity for a filmmaker. Daunting, I might add, to be dealing with this kind of canvas. If it was just biography, okay, but it wasn't. It was biography, philosophy, history, you name it.
He was always very naughty on set. When he was doing the cameos, he was very disruptive. He usually ignored the director completely. And we all had wonderful fun. We knew when he was coming on set to do a cameo that day nothing else would happen. Everybody would show up on set because they wanted to watch him. Even the actors who were not working that day would come along to enjoy it. So it was, you know, and I think you see it from time to time in the movie. Our dad is very mischievous. He has a real sense of humor. So he loved doing the cameos.
Maybe this is an interrogation. Maybe I am self-deceived.
I don't know. But I'll answer any question you wish me to answer as truthfully as I can.